Well, good morning. Good morning. I trust that you are well. It is another really early morning for us on a Tuesday morning. For archival dates, today is May the 27th, 2025, in the year of our Lord. And this is based on something I did a long time ago. I wrote this article years ago, more than 10 years ago, and it first appeared in the Washington Times. Yeah, it's right for the Washington Times. Thanks to my friend Shirley Huzar. Um, she got a bunch of us writing in a national newspaper. I got to tell you, fish out of water territory. I'm just gonna say fish out of water territory. But anyway, this was about this concept of color blindness. When you talk to people on the right all the time, they go, "I don't see color." Well, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You do see color now, and it's not a problem with it. The problem is, what do you do once you see it, once you notice it, once you do it? So we're going to take that diving into the topic that ruffles a lot of feathers on the left and the right, really. This myth of conservative color blindness. You've heard it before. I don't see color. I just see Americans. Sounds noble until you realize it's all BS. So let's go back to 2023. President Obama had just won re-election. Conservatives were shell shocked. Shell shocked. I did election coverage in where was I? Where were we? We were in oh my gosh, we were in Virginia, working with the folks at Liberty News and Grassfire Nation, and everybody's metrics said there's no way that Barack Obama wins re-election with the economy being in the shape it was, all the things. Shell shocked. And as me and Dwayne Lester did 6 hours of election coverage on Ustream with all this is a while ago. This is Ustream, right? So we had this stream up 6 hours, and we were at the camera like literally shoulder to shoulder. And Dwayne won't be so crass as to remember or to mention it. My deodorant had quit. My deodorant had quit an hour and a half into this thing. So we're in there and we're sweating, and it was something else. But it was the early days. It was the early days, and as every state came in, we're more and more surprised, more and more shocked. We're looking at the country, and we're looking at all the red in all the counties, but realizing that the population centers were bright blue. That's where the loss was. I remember that night vividly. So and the thing is, so people kept saying, well, we just need better messaging. We need to be colorblind. But here's the problem with that. Pretending not to see race doesn't make you righteous. It makes you irrelevant. The idea that people groups don't exist, that economic and geographic and yes, racial experiences don't shape voter behavior is just flawed. It's not just flawed; it's fatal, electorally speaking. So let's look at some of the data from 2012 because numbers don't lie. First of all, let's look at income based division. Households making $30,000 or less. Obama wins 63% to Romney's 35%. Isn't it funny now? Fast forward that we know that there wasn't really much difference between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. This proves our point even more. In households earning $250,000 or more, Romney beats Obama 55 to 42%. It's not just a class difference, it's a people group with different life concerns. The people who make less than $30,000 have a much different view on life than the people who are making $250,000 or more. Okay. Location, where people live. This is what we found. This is what we were finding out on that election night. Location-based division in urban areas. That's places with 500,000 or more people. Obama crushed Romney 69 to 29%. This is the little blue dots everywhere, the population centers. In rural communities, Romney was 61% over Obama was 37%. Republicans dominate in the country and get crushed in the city. Yet somehow messaging doesn't need to change? Well, come on. Now here is where the rubber meets the road here. Race-based division. White voters, which are 72% of the electorate, Romney only wins 59 to 29%, 39% over Barack Obama. Black voters, Obama wins 93% of black voters to Romney 6%. That's not a typo. It was 93 to 6. 6%. That's a rejection, not an oversight. Okay, so like every time I bring this up, someone on the right jumps in and says, really, race shouldn't matter. But here's the truth. It already does. You don't get to opt out of a reality because it makes you uncomfortable. Talking to black voters, Latino voters, Asian voters, any voter group within the context of their real life experience is not pandering. It's called strategy. And if the GOP is going to win again and win in a lasting way, they better start practicing something better than colorblindness. They better start practicing vision. Now, this is the difference in what we have seen in the Trump era. Things are better, but Trump is better at talking to all people groups. Now, we're going to do a little, it's going to get a little, I don't know, what do you call it, deep here. We're going to get into the weeds a little bit. Now, I already mentioned the income-based voting breakdown for 2012. Now I'm going to do the very same thing for 2016 and 2024. We'll mention 2020 at the end. So if you're curious about what happened in 2020, we'll mention that at the end of the video. All right. In 2016, the under $30,000 crowd that Obama won 63 to 35%. Hillary Clinton only won 53 to 41%. Started to move towards the Republican side. Well, it started to move towards the Trump side, to be honest with you. The over $250,000 crowd went to Hillary Clinton. No, I'm sorry, went to Donald Trump 48 to 46% over Hillary Clinton. Wow. So things are starting to shift. And I think they're only shifting because it's Trump. I don't see the GOP, I don't see Republicans or conservatives for that matter changing their methodology much. And this is why Trump was such a disruptor. Such an incredible disruptor. In the 2024 election, the under $30,000 crowd still went to the Democrats, and Harris won 50% to 46%. But if we go back and let's look at that under $30,000 crowd, Romney had 35% of them. Trump, and 4 years later, Trump had, 4 years later, Trump had 41%, And then in 2024, Trump had 46%. The over $200,000 crowd, the Democrats still win 52% to 46%. So here's the deal. Over time, the Democrat advantage amongst lower income voters has indeed diminished, while higher income voters have also increased support for Democrat candidates. So this idea that Democrats are for the working class is starting to become less and less true. Let's look at location-based voting breakdown to 2012, 2016, and 2024. Again, I know that you want to know about 2020, and we're gonna get to that at the end because 2020 was what it was, right? It's an anomaly for all sorts of reasons. So we'll get to that at the end of the video. Please just hang on. 2012, in the Obama years, Obama won all the urban areas. We saw that. Golly, that night we saw that. All the urban areas. That's areas with over 500,000 people. Obama wins 69 to 29% over Romney. Romney wins the rural areas 61 to 37%. Why? Because a lot of them are Republicans. Again, the crazy part about this, the irony is that we find out later that Obama and Romney not that much different. Really not that much different. 2016, Hillary Clinton beats Trump in the city 59% to 35%. The GOP had gained a bunch of points, but Clinton lost 10 points to where Obama was, right? Now, if we move on forward to the 2024 elections, Harris still wins in the city, 60% to Trump's 38%. Why is that, you think? Don't get ahead of me. Don't get ahead of me. In the rural areas, Trump wins handily by 30% over Harris, 64% to 34%. Here's the deal. Urban versus rural divide has remained pretty consistent, with Democrats still performing strongly in urban centers. Excuse me. And Republicans dominating in rural areas. Here we are. Here's what we've been trying to get to. The race-based voting breakdown. This is why you simply can't ignore it. In 2012, Romney does very well with white folks. Why? Because Romney is the original white dude. Ain't nothing but loaves of bread with balloons on it in that Romney household. Okay? So he crushes Obama 59 to 39% amongst white voters. But nothing like the chicken and waffles that is Obama with black voters. 93% to 6%. Hispanic voters, Obama 71% to 27% over Romney. Now, let's move on to the 2016 elections. Trump wins white voters in 2016. 57% to 37% over Clinton. Wow. Now Clinton still manages to hold on to black voters, 89% to 8%. Trump still didn't do that well. with black voters. Hispanic voters, Clinton wins 66 to 28% over Trump. We're going to get to 2020 in a minute. It's coming. White voters in 2024. Trump wins white voters again. 57% to 42% over Harris. Black voters. Here's where we start to see things start to crack. With another black candidate, and this time a black woman candidate, Harris wins black voters 86% to Trump's 13%. Remember that Trump won black voters in 2016 8%. This time there was a significant increase. A 7% increase. Is that 7%? Yeah, 7% increase. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. A 5% increase, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 5% increase. Harris only wins Hispanic voters 51% to 46%. We're going to get to 2020 in a second. While Democrats continue to secure significant support from black voters, this has been a noticeable shift among Hispanic voters towards Republican candidates over the years. These shifts highlighted the evolving political landscape in the U.S. Understanding these trends is crucial for tailoring messages and strategies that resonate with diverse voter groups. It is crucial for tailoring messages and strategies that to resonate with diverse voter groups. I would just love to be in a world where it didn't matter. I don't live in that world. And neither do you. And neither do you. All right, I told you we'd get down to 2020. Here's what happened in 2020. This is according to the Roper Center's exit polls. The under $50,000 crowd, Biden wins by 11.55 to 44%. Of the 50,000 to 100,000 dollar earner, Biden wins 47% to Trump 42%. Of $100,000 and over, Trump wins 54% to Biden 42%. The data indicates that Biden maintained a lead among lower and middle income voters. Now, this is during 2020, right? While Trump had an edge among some of the higher income voters. Now, remember, this is during COVID. Locations. While urban versus rural breakdowns are not detailed in provided sources, it's generally observed that urban areas tend to lean Democrat. Rural areas still tend to lean Republican, and that's what happened. Let's get down to what we're talking about. Trump wins white voters 58% to 41%. Trump loses black voters to Biden 87% to 12%. The dedication and loyalty of black people to the Democrat Party is unrivaled. Unrivaled. What was interesting is that amongst Asian voters, Biden wins Asian voters 61% to Trump 54%. And Biden wins Hispanic voters 65%, Trump's 32%. Now, the differences in these exit polls to what had happened before is frankly part of what people are scratching their heads about. Biden also won supposedly 81 million votes, more votes than Barack Obama. So it is part of the mystery and the lore of the 2020 election that some of these numbers actually exist. But it seems like in 2024, things were corrected. So this idea that you can ignore color, that you can just ignore it like it doesn't matter, and the same messaging is going to work with everybody. You just say it and everybody's going to see it the very same way. I was, while I was preparing this, I was scrolling through X and I saw an interview on CNN with Bryan Cranston, and he was making the case that why black people would look at the phrase "Make America Great," and he asked the question: so when was America ever great for black people? Well, I can tell you when. Now it's pretty doggone good. Black people have a higher family income than ever in the history of the country. 2016 through 2020, black unemployment was at an all-time low. All-time low. Bryan Cranston, things were great for black people, for African Americans or black people in America when our families were intact, when the majority of our children were being raised by their mother and their father. Things were pretty doggone good. When the black community was developing its own, was creating their own millionaires. Things were pretty freaking good when our higher learning institutions, even our high schools, were as good or better than a lot of high schools or higher learning institutions in the country, with a lot less. Yes, when black people were inventing things, things were pretty damn good. And to say that they weren't that good is blind and racist, and to say that they can't be that good again is also blind and also racist. Bryan Cranston. Anyway, well, thanks everybody for coming to the live. We appreciate it, and thank you for those of you on Patreon that have decided to join my Patreon and maybe pitch in a few bucks, because we are never going to get monetized on YouTube. That's just not going to happen, unfortunately. It's not going to happen. But hopefully, if you are our Patreon, you can help out. You can make sure that we can continue to do these. I really appreciate it, because we want to continue this ministry of sorts. We want to continue this ministry of sorts because we think that it's important. Really think that it's important. All right, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.